Hey guys, Mike here. So, boy, what a day in the market, especially for NVIDIA and one of the semiconductor stocks. We're going to talk about those as well. Nice sell-off at the end of the day after being range-bound forever. We talked a little bit about this stuff yesterday, so we'll go into those charts. Obviously, we got another hurricane heading for Florida. Sorry if you can hear the rains. We're already starting to get rain, but you know, I'll still be putting videos out as long as we have power. I think the only video I missed last time was when I was in Georgia helping our family. It was a Saturday video or something because they got wiped out. And so obviously this is going to be hitting, looks like southern mid part of Florida coming across, and looks like it might be another bad one. So we're going to buckle up. Hope everybody's safe. Get prepared. Evacuate if you have to and all that fun stuff, okay? And again, we'll live to fight another day on this. So going into one thing in particular, I get a lot of questions about employment, right? And you have to understand, let me be very clear about this. And I'm pretty sure we all know this. I'll just be the one to say it and show it to you. But the government's what's propping all this up, right? And it's not the federal government hiring. It's the funding they're giving to the states. It's the states and the local municipalities that are hiring like crazy on the government level. Because if you took the government jobs out, it's a lot. They're hiring a lot of people. This would be your unemployment rate path. Okay, I think we all kind of know that. And just kind of emphasize that you can just see, look at the trajectory right now. This is all government employees, so this is in the millions. But you can kind of see we've surpassed that level. We've surpassed that level. And it's just a trajectory. I mean, it's like almost straight up like a cliff right here, as you can see, the amount of hiring they are doing. Again, some of this is at the federal level, but most of it is at the state and local levels. But it's funded by federal government money, subsidies, a lot of these bills they had passed, the spending bills and stuff. So keep that in mind. Now, also job holders. Obviously, we're at a record as far as the number of multiple job holders. This goes back 2.5 years ago. I've been saying, hey, but people have jobs, right? The fact that there's that many jobs out there to be had by people. It sucks working multiple jobs, but at least they have jobs. And that's how they're able to keep this whole thing afloat. We've surpassed, this goes back to 1995. We've surpassed all levels on that. But here's the kicker. I'll give you the full story on this channel. It doesn't look anywhere near as bad when you look at the percentage, though, okay, of those totally employed, way down there. Actually, percentage-wise, we're just in a normal level as far as how you compare it when we're talking about multiple job holders as a percentage of all people employed. All right, it probably surprises a lot of people because one chart was horrible, but you got to think your population should be increasing. So that's where we're at right here with multiple job holders. Again, people have multiple jobs. That's the way it is. When you look at this one, this is one everybody likes to watch. So they like to watch the temporary workers because these are the first ones to go. You can see it's been a decline for quite a while right there. We've seen much larger drawdowns. Really, you get your biggest drawdowns if you actually hit a real recession, okay? But this is still declining as well. So you have this declining, multiple job holders picking up when it comes to the number and percentage, as well as the government just continues to send funding to the states and everywhere else to come up for, you know, different types of employment. And when you look at this last jobs data, it's the same thing, right? And they have some, we don't call them government jobs, but there's one category, it's called social assistance, I noticed that pops up. And so a lot of people get hired with that. Well, who funds that? That's the government funding that. And so this is your tax dollars hard at work. Again, I was wondering what these people are doing. I'm like, what are we doing? The government was already big enough before. Now it's super huge, but this is your number one employer, right? That's what this is. And of course, the employment is going to change too because like you'll have companies like Amazon just came out and said they're going to hire 285,000 people for the holidays. Again, it's temporary work, but it's people employed, okay? And we all know the numbers are garbage to begin with because, I mean, even the Fed said they were garbage. I mean, that's what they said. They know it's going to get probably revised down. Who knows? You know, you have to see it. And here's the other thing. But in the end of everything, all the market cares about is people employed. They don't care if it's the government funding it or it's Santa Claus. Doesn't matter. As long as people have jobs, as long as people can do those, you know, buy now, pay later programs, put stuff on credit card, it just keeps it on going, okay? So just keep that in mind. Doesn't matter who's funding it. I'm showing you it's the government, and the government has just an open credit card. You know, we've seen that, right? Don't matter who wins, who's in charge, they keep swipe, you know, and they just keep building it up. So, you know, but that's what's going on in the job market. That's what's holding it up, okay? You may be looking at your area going, man, I hear people talking being unemployed all the time or harder time finding a job. Well, tell them to go apply for a government job, and they'll get it. That's the way it is, all right? Now, when it comes to the market, you see all this red, except for NVIDIA. Ooh, the beacon of light right there, up 3%. It was up almost 4% at one point in time today. Again, this meme was flying everywhere. NVIDIA holding up the entire U.S. stock market. We remember these days when it held up for almost a year right there. And it wasn't just NVIDIA. I mean, there was quite a few semiconductors that were actually green. You can see the most bullish flow right here. No surprise. You got NVIDIA, AMD, SMCI. Mr. was having a big day. Bobo was having another big day. So that's your bullish flow going on right there. So I don't think that should be any big surprise if you're watching the market all day. And bearish flow, no surprise here. Tesla, PDD, don't ask me why PDD was red. Microsoft, even Meta, of course, it was at all-time highs, so you got some profit takers going there. So that's not a big surprise. When you look at the futures, exactly what we talked about last night, okay? We talked about this prior day's high, and I said, look, if prior day's high gets taken, you'll be in a discount range, and normally what happens is you'll start to sell down. Well, of course, prior day's high was taken, you're in a discount range, boom, ends up coming down. We talked about this trend line right here as I zoom in. And again, see if it would break. It broke, right? It comes down to the shaded area. What's the shaded area? That was resistance turned into support, right? And so it bounced. What did it get rejected off of? It ain't magic. That trend line, all right, to the penny. Goes up the trend line, gets rejected down. It ends up ranging all day. I mean, it was just doing hardly anything. And it comes back to the shaded area. And this is what happens. See what happens when one of these shaded areas or support is broken like that? It's just a waterfall. It's just the basement door opening up and you falling down the basement steps, right? But what happened? Takes prior day's low, okay, the opposite of prior day's high, and then it starts to come back up. Okay, so that's normally what you will get here. Okay, and so that's why I'm putting those on there, and I'll put those on there from now on in. And so again, I'll end up getting rid of that trend line. And so, you know, the big question is, okay, what's going to happen? Are we going to end up trying to come down to the other shaded area, which we know was support for quite a while right there? That's what we're going to see. But I'm going to move these down now because now you will have, this will be prior day's low right here come tomorrow. And then prior day's high will bring it down. It actually coincides with that trend line right there, as you can see. So we'll move that down there. So we got both of those locked in. So we'll be looking for that overnight and tomorrow because prior day low is very close right now to where we're at right now. Again, futures open back up about 6. I'm recording this right now. It's like 5 something. But when we look at what might happen, honestly, look at this right here. You got what may be resistance now plus nice fair value gaps, liquidity sitting there to be had. And then you sell back down to what would actually be support by taking prior day's low and then moving up when we open up in the market in the morning. Again, all this could happen over Asia and London because China's got a big meeting tonight, which will take place when we're sleeping. So you could see that push the market up. That's what we're going to have to find out. But, you know, that's just a path I'll be looking at for sure. So just pay attention to that. SPX, we'd already talked about. If it breaks that trend line, we come down here, end up around 57.10. We break that. Then probably heading down to 56.75. And so we're halfway there. We'll see if we're going to continue this path down. We have no news, right, to really do anything to the market until Wednesday, Thursday, mostly Thursday, but something is happening Wednesday. We'll talk about that in tomorrow's video. You know, but looking at SPX, what are we doing? We're just ranging. That's all we're doing, okay? And we've been in this range since, I believe, the 20th, okay? And so just kind of keep that in mind. And we'll see if I don't think we're going to break out till CPI either way. Let's just be real about that right now. But when you look at SPX, look, yes, do we have divergence on RSI? Absolutely, we have bearish divergence. We've had it for quite a few months now. You can see it. This happened previously right here, as you can see. It went on right there. We were going higher highs, higher lows, and the RSI was like, nope, bearish divergence. Went on for like 4 months. And what'd you end up getting? A 5% pullback, right? So it can take months to play out for this bearish divergence, okay? And so that's what we're looking at right now. But yes, we do have bearish divergence. Somebody asked me about that. Absolutely, we have it. We're going to see, obviously, when it's going to play out. Normally, it does play out, right? And so we'll see what happens on that one. And then when you look over here at the Qs, right now, what's it doing? Just coming down 2 days in a row on this trend line, right? We break out, come back down, retest the trend line. If that trend line breaks, we're going back down right there, that shaded area, which is a gap, right, to fill that right there. Again, I wouldn't mind that a bit. I've been very clear about what I want to see in October. I haven't been shy about it. I'd rather have a good November, December rally, and that's hard to do if October is going to the moon, okay? And so that's how I feel about it. Now, NVIDIA, huge day today, up over 4%. We talked about this multiple days. We break 124, so we're going to 130. I think it's going to be quick. I admit it took about 4.5 hours to get there, but we made it. As soon as it got there, it rejected, okay? And so, you know, kind of pulling out on this right here, you can pretty see, I mean, it's been nice resistance going back a couple months here. And so that's why you got your nice rejection. Plus, it was just up huge. I mean, remember, it's a $3 trillion stock. I know sometimes it trades like a meme stock, but it's a $3 trillion stock. Now, looking at this, I'm going to draw a trend line, make this real simple. I'm going to see if we break this trend line, come back down to 124 and turn it into support, all right, before moving back up. And if we do that, or if we bounce off a trend line and start heading back up and we break 130 again, then definitely, I mean, you can see the lines, right? 135, 140, right? Can absolutely come into play pretty quickly. And so watch out, keep an eye on that. But if we come back down, what you're looking for is to see if 124 holds again, because you want to turn that back into support and finally really officially just break out and be done being wedged like it was, right? Because price is wedged for a long time. That's why you see such a big breakout. That's why I said if it breaks out, I think it's going to 130 pretty quickly. Now, SMCI, huge day today, almost 15% up. This is a news candle, okay? They came out and said, look at this right here, AI boom drives 100,000 quarterly GPU shipments. Again, they still hadn't done the 10K that I've seen so far, so we still got to see how the accountant books are going to go and all that good stuff and make sure all that's good. But again, you know, this is a news candle. When you go back over, you can clearly see, like I said, they will not let it fall in that volume gap. That's the 200 weekly moving average has been basically, or say that's actually the 100 moving average. It's been grinding up on right there. You can see like the last 5 trading days, still hanging out above that trend line. If you break above that trend line, see all the gaps above, you can feel, no doubt about that. Well, let's just see if it stays above those 2 levels right there and see how it does without the news. Now, Tesla, we put these gaps in here yesterday. One of them's going to fill. It was the gap to the downside, fill to the penny. That's where it stopped at right there. And so look at this. We're going to take that gap away now. And so we still got that gap above. And this is another one I've been very clear about. Right there, for those who are new and have never seen these videos, we're going to put in a 200 weekly. I'm also going to change the color on this because you can't even see the 200 weekly. But below is really almost like unbelievable support in a way, right? You got all this confluence, right? You got your 200 weekly moving average, bottom of the channel. You do have a support line which goes back quite a ways, a few years actually, okay? On top of the fact that you have a 1 hour fair value gap which has not been filled, right? So you have all this stuff sitting right there in that area to let you know that that is a good bounce place if it comes down there, right? If it does not, and that breaks, this is the support line I was telling you about, which goes back, I think it goes back to like 2021 or something like that. Then, you know, if that breaks, and it's like, oh boy, watch out down below, because not only that, when we come back over, I mean, you're going to see that we also have that trend line. So what I got to do is I got to switch over to a logarithmic chart right here, and you'll see that trend line I'm talking about. This trend line right here is the one that's been descending since 2021, if I'm not mistaken. So you also have that. So that is, I mean, a confluence times 5. Right? And so me being, you know, the greedy son of a gun that I am, obviously that blue vertical line, that right there is supposed to be the robo-taxi day, right? So we don't know what they're going to present. Usually these are sell the news events, but of course it's just a guess because you have no clue. I've heard all kinds of crazy rumors, by the way. And so, you know, what I would love to see more than anything is just stick in this area, but come down here and hit this area. And then on 1010, get a gigantic pop. That's what personally I'd love to see. Is that going to happen? Most likely, probably not going to happen because that's usually not how it works out. But again, if they come out with some crazy stuff and say, oh no, here's really the robo-taxi, we're really rolling it out instead of having all these promises and then under-delivering going, well, you know, we got this picture of it or something like that, you know, then there you go. And I've heard all kinds of stuff about McDonald's ordering robots. I mean, all kinds of crazy stuff, man, is that they're floating. But that's what I'd like to see. Let me know what you're thinking. Again, if this falls through that area, if robo-taxi day really falters and it falls through that area, it's like, oh man, that's going to be a lot of resistance coming back up through there. But anyway, that's what I think about Tesla. Now, HIMS, we talked about yesterday. I'm not chasing this crap. Again, it joined the S&P 600. And you can see like a 10% pop today, came up in this fair value gap, mitigating a little bit more of it. You know, I don't chase stocks that do that, but when you look at this, obviously that trend line up there, around like 2150, somewhere in there, is where we rejected multiple times, that descending, you know, trend line. But some people say, well, where can this go? Well, you got to remember, you had a double top right here around a little over 25. So we'll put a vertical line, and that's at least another about, what, 30% up from here. And so if this continues to go and breaks out of that descending trend line, then that's where you could be heading next. And then from there, you're in price discovery if it breaks that. And the last thing here, guys, is China's going to hold a press conference while most of us are sleeping about their QE bazooka. And we're going to see how much more they're going to put out there maybe, or get some hints of it. So don't be surprised if you wake up tomorrow and either see the stocks super red or super green because they were happy with what they said, or they were totally disappointed. Okay, so just keep that in mind. The only kind of earnings tomorrow, if it even matters, PepsiCo is really the only one, and there is no news at all tomorrow. It should affect the market, guys. So again, hope you guys in the path of this hurricane directly on are safe. Hope you've evacuated or prepared for it. I'll be praying for you. My family and I will. Again, we're in Florida, but we won't take the direct hit, hopefully. And so, you know, be thinking about you guys. And again, I'll put videos out as long as I have the internet working here and have some power, okay? So please hit that like and subscribe button. Really appreciate it. Think about joining the private membership if you want to on that. You can see everything you get right there. And I will see you guys tomorrow.